ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Let us see where we are. So, responding to the objector. The objector
We
sees
can't
two
hear
things.
you, Swaminiji.
You can't hear? Let's see. Maybe the micro.
There's no volume.
There's no volume. Okay, I can maybe increase the volume. Hold on. Let me look at the audio setting here.
We can hear.
Uh,
We can hear some.
you can hear?
We can hear.
Who is it
Yes.
that cannot hear? Who is it that cannot hear? Question is, are they? Who is it that said the volume is very low? Increase the volume, whoever it is, on your computer. Everybody else, I don't know what else to say. One of our mics, something happened to the wire. I'm trying to get the wire replaced. So right now, this is the best we can do. Okay. So now
We can hear you clearly, Swami.
you can
Swamiji.
hear? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay. I'm happy. So whoever cannot hear, you increase the volume on your local device. Maybe that will help. So we are looking at this particular objection, and rather we saw the objection. And just to summarize, what is the objection? The objection is karya apekshaya vastutah antavatvam iti chet. Well, because of the fact that Brahman has gained this epithet of Sarvasya Karanam, it has gained a causality, it is the cause of everything. So then, if it is the cause, it's not the effect. So that means there are two. And so there goes your Anantyam. Anantyam means your limitlessness, your argument of limitlessness. There it goes. Because now we have two things. And then the answer was pointed out first shortly in brief. It was a one word answer. What was that? Na, no, complete sentence. No. Why? Because karyavastunah anritatvat. That vastu or that entity which is called karya is not a stand-alone thing. It is first of all, it is not a parallel reality to the Karana, number one. Number two, it is non-separate from the Karana. So therefore, there are no two things, Karana and Karya, because nahi, and he expands on this, we saw this, nahi karya vyatirekena karyam nama karana vyatirekena vastu asti. There is no karya without karana. Karana alone is everything, and that karana alone, from the standpoint of the vastu gains this karanatvam, gains the status of masquerading as though it were a cause. And then, this whole entire jagat and everything, this karya is a manifestation of this karana alone. So karana alone manifests as the karya. Karya therefore is non-separate from the karana, and then that's why you can see the karya and the karana at the same time. You can see the gold and the bangle at the same time. You don't have to come back again to look at the gold, having once seen the bangle, and you don't have to come back again to look at the pot, to look at the clay, having once seen the pot. And so therefore this is something to be properly understood. And here the Bhashyakara reminds us that why do you see the cause and the effect in the same place? Because they are one. This itself should be very, very clear. No, but I don't see Brahman. You don't see Brahman because you are Brahman. That is why you don't see Brahman. Brahman is not separate from you. You are that consciousness, and that consciousness is not a quality of Brahman. It is the Swarupa of Brahman. So you don't see Brahman. And if you really want to discern Brahman, it is in the word is. Satyam, 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 is. Sat, 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 is. It's is all the way. All the way it is. And so therefore, and when you see the is, wherever the verb is there, that is where Brahman is. So the whole world, we cannot lead our lives without using the word is. And even with the person, the word may change. Are you there? Yes, I am here. That am is. The am is with reference to the first person, and so you really cannot get away with not using the word is. So pot is, cat is, rat is, hat is, mat is, everything is. And this, this isness is itself Brahman. And so there are no two things. And this Anritam is mithya. Anritam, is not false. It's mithya. Mithya means it is non-separate from Sat. So there is only Sat. And then this mithya is as though projection of this Sat. And that's all this whole Jagat is about. And then the quotation we are here, now we are. So therefore he says, this is a very important sentence. Nahi karana vyatirekena karyam nama vastu asti yataha karana buddhi nivarteta. So, just as earlier, this is still a summary of yesterday because we went into some very terse things. And so, yesterday we saw this very important thing. And what was that? When you look at the cow, the horse buddhi goes away. Even though the horse is standing right there, few yards from the cow grazing. But you saw the horse buddhi was there, then you saw the cow, and then what happened? Cow buddhi, now your brain is full of cow buddhi. Your buddhi, the cow is pervading your entire buddhi. Okay? And so, you don't see the horse as you see the cow. So from the cow, you go to see what kind of grasses they are grazing on. And then you see, oh, there are these kinds of grasses, and these some are tall, some are short. Now you have grass buddhi, cow buddhi, horse buddhi, grass buddhi, because then these are all discrete perceptions, because each one belongs to the same order of mithya reality, and each one is not the cause of the other. Cow is not the cause of horse, And neither is the horse the cause of cow, neither is the grass the cause of cow. So there is no causation involved there. But wherever there is causation, the reason why you see the cause and the effect in the same place is because they are one and the same. So Karya Buddhi, that, and this is exactly what he points out in the elaboration of the refutation of the Purva Paksha. In his rebuttal, he points out this very fact that so Karyam Nama Vastu Nahi Karyam Nama Vastutah Asti. There is no such thing as Karya by itself. Yatah Karana Buddhi Nivarteta, from which the Buddhi connected to the cause reverts. No. When you see the clay, when you see the pot, you see the clay also at the same time. That is his idea. And since we are talking so much about pot clay, pot clay, pot clay, he goes to the Chandogya Upanishad, very famous quotation. Let us read this here. Vacharambhanam vikaro
Vacharambhanam vikaro
namadheyam
namadheyam
vrittika iti eva satyam
vrittika iti eva satyam
evam sadeva satyam
evam sadeva satyam
iti shrutyantarat.
iti shrutyantarat.
So this is so he says that let us go and take a little tour into the Chandogya Shruti. And what does the Chandogya Shruti say? That all this and this entire Jagat is at the tip of the tongue. Oh, you mean I know so many things? No, 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 no. It's literally on the tip of your tongue. You say pot, pot is there. You say cat, cat is there. You say mat, mat is there. And so basically, it is all dependent upon vak, speech. Speech also is not is not independent. Speech is dependent upon the mind. The mind is dependent upon Brahman, that consciousness. And so really, so the entire world of names and forms is dependent upon consciousness. It is a manifestation of consciousness. It is waiting for that consciousness to reveal it. And so therefore this is this is a very important point which many people don't understand, especially some of the what is that, the people who are these I don't know what to call them, but there are certain people, certain kinds of thinking which comes in the way of assimilating this point. And so I want to stay here a little bit. So what does the Chandogya Shruti say? Vak alambanam, Vak arambhanam or Vak alambanam, same thing. Vak alambanam, dependent upon speech. Vak arambhanam means everything, the whole universe starts with speech. And this is a far cry for many people, because they think it's all some kind of a romantic idealism, and there is something else going on and whatnot. And so this is not something that is easily understood. And even Shvetaketu, qualified as he was for this knowledge, he had to listen to it 9 times. He had to attend 9 classes in order to understand Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. And we are at class number 48 just to understand that much. But don't worry, after this it will go a little much faster, because this is the what we have gone through is the hardest part, where the most difficult part we have that first mantra, what is that, is not the Bhashya connected to the first mantra is certainly not for the faint of heart. and that you have managed to come so far without dropping out is kudos to you, really. It's just amazing. So here the vak alambanam, it is dependent upon speech, and this seems like a Vedanta gets an accusation, picks up an accusation of being solipsistic, meaning it's just like, what do you mean? Like there is no pothole, and I think therefore it is, and then everything is I think of it therefore it is. That's not what we are saying. That is not at all what we are saying. What we are saying, it's not that it is there. It is there. Many things are there. Pothole is there, pot belly is also there. But until you look at it, it is as good as not there. It is there, but it is not in your consciousness. It is not loaded onto the buddhi. It is not an object of awareness. This is the idea. And so here, a lot of people start, accusing Vedanta of just being, being very solipsistic, and then, and also not just being solipsistic, being kind of jiva centric. Oh, the jiva is always presented to be the best creation. And so, what about the lowly pot? What about everything else? And you are conscious of the pot, you keep saying. You are conscious of the pot. How come the pot is not conscious of me? This is what a question. So, pot also should be conscious of me. Why should the pot be conscious of you? No, no, no. If I am conscious of the pot also should be conscious of me. This is actually a Purva Paksha. Elsewhere in the Upanishad, I don't know if it's in this one, but in Kena Upanishad it comes. This particular Purva Paksha is presented. And so in other Upanishads it comes. Shvetashvatara also we say this. We see this kind of a argument on part of the objectors. What is your proof? Where is your proof to say that there is only one source of consciousness and that happens to be you? How convenient. Why is that one source of consciousness not in the pot? Why should it be with you, centered on you? And where is the proof? So these are all the scientific kinds of people. But here Vedanta is not scientific. It's not supposed to be scientific at all. It's because science is based on Anumana and Arthapatti, the two means of knowledge. What is Anumana? Inference, single step and multi-step inference. The entire science, all the science fields are based on inference. Whole astronomy is based on inference. Oh, they have discovered a Goldilocks planet. What is a Goldilocks planet? Neither too hot nor too cold. Based on the story of the Goldilocks and the three bears. And so, neither too hot nor too cold. So, this kind of a planet. So then they know its location. They will tell you it is located here. They'll name it also. Have they seen it? No. Not even through the telescope they have seen it. It is all Arthapatti and Anumana. It is fascinating. So what they have done is looked at the gravitational force exerted by other celestial bodies around this. They have looked at dark matter, they have looked at the energy fields of other things that they do see. And based on that, they, do Anumana. They infer the mass of the planet. They infer the atmosphere quite accurately. They infer the volume. They infer the how close it is to its sun, which they can see because it's a bright object. So they can see the sun, they can see other things which are nearby or whatever, and they even though it's an exoplanet means it's outside the solar system. But still, they can make these inferences, they can make these tremendous inferences. It's all Arthapatti, the whole science field, all the fields of science is that. It's all, even medicine. If it works on the rat, it must definitely work on the human being. This is this is a big inference. It's a huge inference. Yeah, 1 in a million gets a tumor in the head. So, don't worry about it. It's only 1 in million people. Like this, the whole field of medicine has advanced through inference. It's all inference, deduction, induction. This is the matter of this is the pramana used in science. Whereas Vedanta itself is a pramana. This people forget. And so, therefore, these kinds of ideas, why is the pot not conscious of me? Pot is not conscious because it is inert. No, but you said it is Satyam Jnanam. Jnanam means its consciousness. So, if the whole Jagat is Brahman, then this pot is also Brahman. Yes, who said it's not Brahman? Then, if it is Brahman, it should also have Jnanam. This is a very big pitfall. It's an extremely big mistake, because the blunder here is thinking that these qualities of the is based on an argument, and the thinking is like this: the qualities of the karana in here, or do anuvritti, or come down to the karya, the effect. So just like the DNA of the mother and the father, there is in the child as well. That's why you can do a DNA test to find out paternity. You can do a paternity test. So the father shares the DNA with the child. And so the DNA of Brahman is what? This is the thinking. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So the child of Brahman is the Jagat, including pot, etc., all the names and forms. So those names and forms also should be conscious. This is all just, some kind of a problem in the head, really, because nowhere in the Shruti it says that these are qualities. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are not qualities, it is the very Swarupa. Gunasya anuvritti vartate. Yes, so you can have a guna coming down from the cause to the effect. You can have a guna, quality come down. You can see that in the cow and the calf. The cow has a white mark on its forehead, a brown cow, and the calf also has a white mark on the forehead. Yes, this kind of a quality can in here. But Swarupasya anuvritti na. But the Swarupa of something does not, come down in this, because really speaking, there is no such thing called Karya that is separate from the Karana. Okay, then all right, you're just sort of, going around the bush. You're just going around the bush like the hero and the heroine in a Bollywood movie, going around trees and singing a song. This is, you are just saying that the karya is non-separate, the effect is non-separate from the cause, but then still that does not explain to me why the pot is not conscious of me. It still, I do not understand why, if everything is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, that Jnanam means consciousness, why is pot not conscious? Because there is a difference between how we use the word consciousness and being conscious. Being conscious requires a certain upadhi, a kind of a form called Sukshma Sharira. So all the things in the Jagat that are blessed with a Sukshma Sharira, they are conscious. But those things that do not have the Sukshma Sharira, like rock, pot, etc., they are not conscious, but they are never away from consciousness. Consciousness is their nature too, Jnanam. That's what it is, because anything in this universe is just consciousness. Really, consciousness doesn't mean conscious, consciousness means knowledge. So, if you look at a rock, it's all knowledge. There is no such thing as rock. It's only jnanam, all knowledge. Oh, how come rock is knowledge? Well, rock is knowledge. If it could talk, it would tell you once upon a time. 1.5 billion years ago, I was lava, and then I, I became a rock. This rock is talking to another rock. The another says, "Oh, you were lava. Don't act too smart. If you were lava, I was a live forest. I was a forest. You were just lava. I was a forest." And then what happened? I got petrified. I'm a petrified rock. And so, like this, and another rock can come and say, I am a celestial rock. I fell on the earth. I belong to an asteroid, a meteor, or something. And then I have fallen on this earth. Recently, they found one diamond out of space, outer space diamond, some kind of a action of carbons and everything, coalescing together. They found one diamond, out of space diamond. And so, like this, another rock can say, I'm an out of space rock, outer space rock. I am. So the rock, all these kinds of rocks, whether they are meteors or whether they are some expensive rocks, like the kinds that celebrities wear, big gems, or Kohinoor gem, etc., or they are just a roadside rock. It's just all knowledge. Rock is, rock knowledge is. Rock is rock sat. Rock knowledge is, rock is jnanam. That's what. It will tell you a story of billions of years ago, when it was a lava, when it was water, when it was liquid, when it was under the earth in some kind of a molten form. All this it will tell. Putting one's own life story to shame. And what did you do? I ate and I slept and I ate some more. That is that is what is one story. And so here, things do not have to be conscious in order for them to be satyam, jnanam, anantam. Jnanam means it is all knowledge. Rock is rock knowledge is pot knowledge is, hat is hat knowledge is. If you remove the knowledge from the rock, there is no rock. There is no such thing. And so it's all knowledge. So therefore, here something doesn't have to be conscious in order to be consciousness. This distinction we have to keep in mind, because I myself have gone into many arguments with people, and I have not been able to convince them. Many theologies, they say, how do you know that the spoon from which you are eating is not conscious, is not a conscious being? I will say, for that I have a very nice answer. I will say, because it is leaving me to eat the food, it's not eating my food. It's not saying I am hungry and eating the food. It's leaving me to eat the food. And so therefore, spoon is, so this conscious and consciousness must not be mixed up, because otherwise we will be in trouble. And this is where, this is what Bhashyakara is also kind of intending to say, when he is quoting this Shruti and talking about how everything is dependent upon vak, upon speech. So this conscious being, who is nothing other than Brahman, who is Brahman alone, to this conscious being, the whole universe, what's the word to say, becomes evident. Becomes evident. And so here, Vacharambanam vikaraha. Vikaraha means everything is a modification of speech. It is a modified form of speech. It is what is at the other end of speech. Speech, ends after pointing to one thing, and that thing to which speech points, that is what is called vikara. It is a modification. It's a modification of speech. Vacharan brahmanam vikaro namadheyam. And then in this example, that Shvetaketu was being given by his father turned teacher Uddalaka. He was given the example of pots, and then he was a clay. Ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijñātam bhavati. Vācārambhanam vikaro namadheyam mrittika iti eva satyam. So in the world of earthenware, O Shvetaketu, there is, there is a pot, there is a lid, there is a Krishna figurine, there is a vase, there is a block print. You can make little prints of birds and everything and use and dip it in the dye and then press it onto the cloth and make nice block prints. So it's all clay. If you look at each and everything, you see that it is all clay. It's non-separate from clay. From clay it has arisen, goes back to clay. By clay it is sustained for the time that it is there. And then so it is, so you don't have to do a PhD on each and every item made of clay. All you have to do is understand what is clay, and then the whole world of earthenware reveals itself to you. It is a modification of clay. Every single thing that you see in this universe in the clay world is a modification of clay. And then how do you know this? Because it's all based on speech. It is vikara. It's a modification of clay. And then he also seems to suggest it's a modification of speech. So whatever speech implies, that is what it is. Mrittika, the clay alone is existent, and all the various earthenware enjoy an iffy existence because they are all dependent on clay. They do not have their own being. They do not have their own being at all. So they are all dependent upon clay. They are nothing other than clay. So then, so he says, this is what. So then he quotes this again, evam sadeva satyam. Just like in the example, Mrittika iti eva satyam. In the example, the clay alone is existent, everything else borrows its existence from clay. And here, in the Darshtanta, in that which is exemplified, in the entire Jagat, name, form, all these things, Sat alone is. It is Sat that is as though modified into various names and forms without becoming any one thing. This is what is there where Shrutyantarat. Shrutyantarat means in another Shruti. This has been established. And why does he quote this? Because we don't need to scientific explanation. Science is, as I said, it is based on inference, arthapatti, anumana, etc., various kinds of inferences in order to put its, postulates forth. But for us, the Shruti itself is a pramana. For Adi Shankara, Shruti is a pramana, so that's why he keeps quoting the other Shruti. This itself is the proof, because the Shruti is telling something which is going to remove my sorrow and remove my fear. I have to come back to that repeatedly in order to continue enjoying studying the Shruti. Otherwise, the Shruti becomes some kind of an academic enterprise, and then you'll get bored also. But you have to keep bringing it back. Bringing it back to yourself alone, and that's when it continues to be relevant and enjoyable. And so this is what is he says, Shrutyantarat tasmat, he is summing it up. Tasmat, therefore, akashadi karanatvad vastutah tavat anantam brahma. And he is getting ready to go into the next portion of the next mantra. And what is that next mantra? Tasmad va etasmat atmanah akashas sambhutah. This is how it starts. So he says that this is it is akashadi karana. Akashadi means akasha, etc. Akasha, vayu, prithvi, all this. So it is the daddy, and this Brahman is the mummy and daddy, the cause of the 5 elements, starting with space. Now, why do we start with space? We start with space because it is the most subtle of the 5 elements. It's the most subtle. After space, then Vayu, little less subtle, like this. Uh, Objectified by two sense organs, whereas space is objectified only by sound, and Vayu is objectified by sound. It makes a whoosh sound, that is Vayu, and also touch. You go like this, whatever you feel in the hand is Vayu. Then from that we have fire, little more gross because it is objectifiable by three sense organs, including the first two, which is what, touch and touch and sound. Along with that, what else does fire have? Sight. It is available for sight finally. Other two are uh, too too sukshma, too subtle. Then water. The distinguishing characteristic of water is that it is known for taste. That tastelessness is its taste. So water is, when you taste water, it is unmistakably water. And then after that you have finally earth. So in water you have four sense organs. You have the sense of taste as well, and then you have the sense of smell, that is the earth, that is unique to the earth. Why? Because each one, each five element has one sense organ associated with it specifically. And so the earth, Gandhavati Prithivi. So this earth is fragrant, the fragrant earth. This is what the Upanishad says, the Veda says that. And so therefore, here, iti shrutyantara, tasmad akashadi karanatvat, because Brahman is the cause of akasha, etc. Vastutaha tavat anantam brahma. Therefore, it is object wise limitless. Object wise limitless. And we know what this object wise limitlessness is, meaning it occupies it occupies the name and form of every single entity, so called vastu in the universe, without undergoing any change. So therefore it has object wise limitlessness. Then introducing the other, he's not introducing it yet. I think that's in the next paragraph. He's summing up here, and we can go through this quickly because we have already done all this before. So here, we can repeat this. Akashah hi
आकाशः हि
anantah iti
अनन्तः इति
prasiddham deshatah
प्रसिद्धं देशतः
tasya cha ayam karanam
तस्य च अयं कारणम्
tasmad siddham deshatah
तस्मात् सिद्धं देशतः
आत्मनः आनन्त्यम्
आत्मनः आनन्त्यम्
न हि
न हि
असर्वगतात्
असर्वगतात्
सर्वगतम्
सर्वगतम्
उत्पद्यमानम्
उत्पद्यमानम्
लोके किञ्चित् दृश्यते
लोके किञ्चित् दृश्यते
अतः
अतः
निरतिशय
निरतिशय
निरतिशयम् निरतिशयम्
निरतिशयम्
आत्मनः आनन्त्यं देशतः
आत्मनः आनन्त्यं देशतः
तथा
तथा
अकार्यत्वात् कालतः
अकार्यत्वात् कालतः
तद्भिन्नवस्तु
तद्भिन्नवस्तु
अन्तर अभावात् च
अन्तर अभावात् च
वस्तुतः
वस्तुतः
अतः एव
अतः एव
निरतिशयसत्यत्वम्.
निरतिशयसत्यत्वम्.
Yeah. So he sums it up on this limitlessless argument, because upon that only the whole Vedanta Shastra is based, the whole Valli is based on this alone. And so Akashaha hi Anantaha iti prasiddham. So the fact that space is limitless is already well known. Prasiddham eva. It is well known. Where is it well known? In the world. Loke. Loke prasiddham. It is well known in the world. What is well known? That space enjoys spatial limitlessness. Deshataha. Spatial limitlessness is already well known. See, if you're going on a trip and you're calculating, okay, I'm going for 10 days. Let's say you think I'm going for 10 days. So you calculate how many changes of clothes you will need and all this. And you will pack. You will pack your toothbrush, you will pack your clothes, you will pack whatever else. And then what else, One thing nobody packs is space. Nobody packs space. You don't need to pack space, because you don't need to worry, oh, when I get there, what if I run out of space? You never run out of space. Space is everywhere. And so therefore the space enjoys spatial limitlessness. And this is what is talked about here. So tasmat siddham deshatah. So akashah he means prasiddhi. So indeed the space is well known to enjoy spatial limitlessness. But tasya cha ayam karanam. Slowly Bhashyakara does a gender bender here. from from Satyam Jnanam Anantam, which is all Samanadhikaranyam neuter. All of them are neuter. Brahma neuter. Brahma Brahmani Brahmani neuter. And so so this is neuter. It's a neuter word. So then all the things which qualifying not figuratively, but here literally grammatically qualifying Brahman, are all in neuter. Neuter, nominative, singular. All of them are in apposition. And so here that neuter. So what he should have said? He should have said tasya tad brahma karanam. Tat karanam he should have said. Tasya tat karanam. But here what does he say? I am. He changes that neuter into masculine just as quietly as in the next mantra the Brahman is changed, the word Brahman is changed into Atma. Just as, it's just like tricking a child into eating its vegetables. Or, in the same way, hiding a pill in the in the dog food. If the dog has to what is that? If the dog has to take some medicine, dog is sick. Okay, if you just say, oh, you make it sit down and say, you have to be on antibiotics for the next 5 days. So I'll give you 2 pills. Don't worry. After that, I'll give you a treat. No dog is going to listen. And and even if you just you open its mouth and put it and close its mouth, it will spit it out on the side. It spit it out on the side. And then so you have to trick the dog, and then you remove the capsule, and then that powder you put it in the dog food, and then you mix it thoroughly, and then pray, say a prayer and hope that it'll not be so clever and it will eat. And most of the time it does. Most of the dogs eat. They don't this thing. Cats on the other hand, very clever, but but dogs will eat almost anything. And so here in this way the Upanishad tricks, because otherwise, if this is to be told when you are looking and when you are paying attention, if it is to be told, then it will be so incredulous that you will just you will just get going. You will just say, oh, I'm leaving, because this cannot be. How can I be? Just now we heard about Brahman, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Okay, yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman, etc., etc. So, saha ashnute, that person gains all the desires. Okay, all right, fine. But knowing Brahman is different from being Brahman, at least in the popular imagination. But really speaking, knowing is being. And so this, if one doesn't understand, so there is a kind of a subtle split between knowing Brahman and being Brahman. Knowing theek hai, acha hai, this is nice, I can know. But then being is an entirely different thing. And so therefore what? So therefore I am out of here, because look at Brahman and me. So many differences. And how can I be Brahman? So there is this incredulity, especially if all the five elements are brought in. I never created the five elements. What do you mean? Tasmad va etasmad atmanah akasha sambhutah. This the akasha, the space was born from the atma. What do you mean? Atma means I never created space. How can I create space? The only thing I can create and take credit for is confusion. I can only create confusion. I cannot create space, much less water, fire, all these things. How can I create? And so this incredulity, mahabhut, so may this disbelief and may this loss of trust may not be there. And so the pill of oneness is mixed into the grammar here, and slowly fed to the sadhaka when they are not really paying attention. And so Bhashyakara takes the cue from the Upanishad, thinking that there must be a reason why the Upanishad is doing this. The Shraddha for the Upanishad, his Shraddha is so much that he also follows the same cue. And then he says what? He says that it is ayam tasya cha ayam karanam. Ayam means what? Ayam qualifies Atma. Ayam Atma, this Atma. Not Tat Brahma, but this Atma, Ayam Atma. Ayam Atma, which is Brahman, and which is in fact the Mahavakya in the Mandukya Upanishad. Ayam Atma Brahma. And so here this Atma is Brahman, and this Atma alone, this Atma alone is Brahman. Ayam tasya cha ayam karanam. The Atma is the cause of everything. And then if Brahman is the cause of everything, and then here the Ayam is used instead of Tat, that means the Tat and Ayam should be referring to the same locus, which is this Atma, which is Brahman, and that is the cause of everything. Tasmat siddham deshatah atmanah anantyam. Tasmad atmanah anantyam deshatah siddham. Therefore, now Siddham means it is proven, it is established. What? That Atma is spatially limitless. What do you mean? Atma is spatially limitless means what? Atma means what? I. So I am spatially limitless. Don't you see? I am sitting in one place and I can't go to another place. Even if you give me money, I will not move. I'm fixed on this one place. And so can't you see that? Yes, but you are talking only of the body. But if I'm feeling nostalgic for some place, that means you're talking about space as it obtains in the mind. But really speaking, when you talk about the I, the truth of this I, which is the cause of space, then we are not talking about the body mind sense complex. We are walking the I to Brahman and understanding the I from the standpoint of Brahman, which is what is the homework, which is what one has to keep on living. This is the contemplation that is advised in all the shastras, all the teachings. And this contemplation nirantaram kalam nayet. So always spend your entire life, you spend your entire day and entire night just understanding and seeing how you are non-separate from Brahman, how the I alone is Brahman, to do that. And so here he says that this Atma is the cause of even space, which is spatially limitless. So Atma is also spatially limitless. How can you say Atma is spatially limitless? Because he gives a very nice and interesting hetu. Nahi asarvagatat sarvagatam utpadyamanam loke drishyate. It is not seen in the world that kinchit, that something which is small pervasive. Asarvagata means not non-pervasive. We have to take that nunj here. The the nunj, what is that affix, upasarga. We have to take that negative particle alparthe, not virodharthe. We have to take it alparthe. Alparthe nanj, meaning asarvagatat doesn't mean it's non-pervasive, it is small pervasive. It doesn't fully pervade. So alparthe, like when somebody complains alavanam bhojanam, meaning what is this you have cooked? There is no salt in the food. Really speaking, it's not that there is no salt. There is not enough salt. That is what it is. And so here also it is small pervasive. Nahi, not indeed from a small pervasive thing. This is the very classic use of the fifth case here. Asarvagatat, from a small pervasive thing. Sarvagatam utpadyamanam is asambhava. Asambhava it is. It is not possible at all. That from a small pervasive thing, an all pervasive thing can come. It is not possible. This is the hetu which is given, meaning that the see, if Brahman is the cause of everything, if Atma is the cause of everything, what should it be? All pervasive. Sarvagatam it should be. Sarvagatah Atma, Sarvagatam Brahma, it should be Sarvagatam. But here an interesting logic is given that if it was, if it is not, if it is small, if Atma is not fully pervasive, if Atma is small pervasive, then it cannot give birth to all these things in the universe. So therefore, Atma pervades Akasha as well. This is a kind of a technical argument. It is not necessary because Atma is Akasha. So therefore, Akasha is Atma, we can say. So there is no two things. But here, for those who want to go through this route, it's a very interesting argument. Like from a cow, which is big pervasive cow, only a small pervasive calf can come. It cannot give birth to something bigger than itself. That is the idea. So space is all pervasive, spatially speaking, and Atma is the cause of space. So Atma has more pervasiveness than space. That's the only point that is being made here. Okay, now we don't have to overthink this. It is very, very straightforward. So nahi, he gives a logic. What is that? Nahi asarvagatat sarvagatam kinchit the loke drishyate. You don't see anything utpadyamanam loke drishyate. It is not seen at all. And then he says ataha niratishayam atmanah anantyam deshatah. Niratishayam means beyond compare. Incomparable is the limitlessness spatially of the I, Atmanah. The Atma is incomprehensibly pervasive, spatially limitless. And this was already pointed out before. Tatha kalatah. In the same way, time-wise, Atma, the I, is limitless. Why? Akaryatvat. Because it is not an effect. Since it is not an effect, it is free of time. It is not bound by time. We already saw this in detail. And then tatha, in the same manner, akaryatvat, because it is not a it is not a product. It is not an effect. And then vastutaha, it is also object wise limitless, as we saw. Why? Bhinna vastu antara abhavat. Bhinna vastu means this separate thing. Antara means another. Because of another separate thing not being there, it is object wise limitless. It means I. It means Atma here. The I, the self, is object wise limitless because there is nothing other than itself. Everything is Atma. Atma is not any one thing. Therefore, Atma enjoys, what does it enjoy? Niratishaya Satyatvam. Its existence is incomprehensible beyond compare, incomparable to any other existence, because all the other existences borrow from the Atma. Atma does not borrow from anything at all. And so he concludes this particular section and this particular mantra up till Saha Ashnute Sarvan Kaman Brahmana Saha Vipaschita iti. This was the first mantra. Now the second mantra is going to be entered into. What is the second mantra? तस्माद् वा एतस्माद् आत्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद् वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषोन्नरसमयः. This is the second mantra. Very interesting. Tasmad vai etasmad. And this itself, is an interesting beginning. From that, which is indeed this. What is this? What is this? This and that. That's what I say. Whenever we have the words this and that, and then somebody asks you after the lecture, after the class, what did you study? What did you talk about? You say, oh, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's all. So from that, which is this? This is exact translation. Okay, we'll be seeing this in detail. From that Brahman, which is indeed this Atma, Tasmad va etasmad Atmanah, from this Atma was born Sambhutah. Born, how born? Nicely born. Samyak means care, with care. There is an order about it. And then we can also say the upasarga sam is also in the sense of magic. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Where have we heard this? Kathopanishad, correct? Kathopanishad? Yes?
Bhagavad
Gita.
Gita.
Okay. Yeah, see, sometimes even in Zoom, everybody can talk at once, and usually it is not there. But but since people knew this, they could not wait to tell that I was wrong. It is not Kathopanishad. It is indeed Bhagavad Gita. Sambhavami paritranaya sadhunam, in order to protect the sadhus, vinashaya cha dushkritam, and in order to give the people, give the people the pink slip, all the people who are doing adharma, in order to remove them. And then what else? Dharma samsthapanarthaya, in order to restore a sense of morality, a moral, ethics, etc., in this, a sense of balance of dharma in this universe. Sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga, I will incarnate myself. And here, here means magically. Magically. So this swamayaya, from my own shakti, swamayaya sambhavami, it is like magic. Magically this body appears. And what is this magic body? The magic body is not steeped in ignorance. This magic body is fully aware of itself. a self-aware body, and born fully enlightened, born again as though born. And it knows, this body knows that it's as though born, and it is still going through all the motions, including the stealing of the butter. Krishna doesn't say, oh, it is just as though butter, why bother? No, it is just, there is fun in that. There is fun if you know mithya as mithya. And if you don't know mithya as mithya, then it becomes, if mithya becomes satyam, it becomes extremely miserable. And so Lord Krishna is born fully aware, fully enlightened to his nature, and then is born. Why? Because there is this understanding that when I walk the earth, I can do some things to restore the balance. And here, Sambhavami means, almost magically. This is, this is possible, and I will come again and again, provided you call me. Call means what? Everybody says, oh Lord, where are you? How can you watch this? How can you stomach this? Where are you? Why aren't you, why aren't you here? So this is the karma of the people, the prayers of the people becomes the body of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama too, for that matter. And so therefore it's a magical body, which is called in the Mandukya Upanishad, it has a very interesting name, this kind of a dual awareness. It is fully aware of itself, and it is also aware of the limitations of the role to which it has been born. And that's why everybody can ask this question, why didn't Lord Rama just leap to Lanka and magically rescue Sita? I mean, after all, he's Bhagavan. Yes, because he is respecting that upadhi in which he is born for the sake of the establishing dharma. He's going through the motion. He need not have built a bridge. He need not have assembled the Vanara Sena. He could have just, made short shrift of that Asura. He had killed so many Asuras by the time Ravana comes. Ravana was nothing for him. But still, he goes through the motions. He respects the body in which he is. He respects the constraints of the body and the mind and the karmic circumstances there. And that is what is all comes under this Sambhavami. And so here, Akashah Sambhutah. How did the Atma, how did I create Akasha? Magically, in a way, because it's not really a creation, it is a manifestation. The Atma is manifest as Akasha. Akasha is non separate from Atma. How? Again, it's magic, it's the law of the universe which is revealed by the Shruti. And so, this is how it is. And so, Sambhutaha. And then, similarly, from Akasha, air came, Vayu. And from Vayu, what else came? Agni came, fire. From fire, water came. Very interesting that from fire, water comes. And then fire gives birth to its own nemesis. And so from fire, water comes. And then from water, earth was born. From earth, the vegetation was born. And this. And from the vegetation, this body of this being, which being the one that is studying this Upanishad, the body of this being was born. Very interesting and a lovely setup. Look at what a compassionate setup it is. First, the atmosphere is there, space is there, then air is there, the atmosphere is there, then everything that you need to lead your life is there. Vayu is there to breathe, and then water is there to drink, food is there to eat, and then the body comes. The body that will partake of all the things in the universe is finally there. And so that is this mantra here. And then commenting on the mantra, here is we don't get very far here because the whole paragraph is just to explain tasmat and e tasmat. So let us read this. Tasmat iti
Tasmatiti
मूलवाक्य सूत्रितं ब्रह्म
Moolavakya Sutritam Brahma
परामृश्यते
परामृश्यते
एतस्मादिति
एतस्मादिति
मन्त्रवाक्येन
मन्त्रवाक्येन
अनन्तरं यथा लक्षितम्.
अनन्तरं यथा लक्षितम्.
Yeah, we'll stop there because this itself will take a long time to understand. So, um, Bhashyakara takes it upon himself to explain the first two words of the next mantra. Tasmat va etasmat, both of them are there. And so, this makes no sense because tasmat means that over there, far away, removed in time, removed from me in space. So that means something that is very, very far away, remote. Etasmad means that which is right here. So you use one of the two prepositions. You don't use both. You don't use that and this in the same sentence. How can you use that and this, especially connected to the same locus, to the same subject matter, to the same noun? You cannot use these things. You cannot use that and this to qualify the same noun. Like, for example, if I say that window over there is this window over here, it makes no sense at all. There will be the sentence will just suffer from many fallacies. This is not at all acceptable. So what is this that and what is this, and how can it be used in the same sentence? This example I have given you when we were studying the Chandogya Upanishad. It is possible in rare cases to refer to the same locus and use the word that and this, especially if that which you remember has undergone a change as this, then it is possible. And the stock example is that of three fellows. Who are they? Devadatta, and then his friend Somadatta, and another friend Yajnadatta. And then what? They did everything together. They grew up together, went to the same school, studied in the same school, played. And then come college time, they were little separated. Somadatta, Somu for short, went to the nearby city in order to finish his schooling. And then Yajna and Deva stayed in the same village, stayed in the same small town, and finished their education there. And then Somu dropped out. Nobody seemed to know where he was. He just simply vanished from the face of this earth. No Somu. And they all thought, oh, wish he was around. He was such a jokester, and he was always making fun of things, and he was just so wonderful. What happened to Somu? And they thought of him occasionally, but there was no way to reach him, and so they let it be. Then Yajna and Devadatta and Yajnadatta, they got married, they had children and everything. And then what? And they had their jobs, they were in the same town. And one day a Swami comes into town. Swami rolls into town, and of course anybody who's been married for any length of time will tell you that Swami coming into town sounds very good, because there are so many problems by the time you get married and have children, etc., and the Swami is a welcome relief. Okay, let us listen to some Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, whatever the Swami has to offer. So thinking, Yajna and Deva go to listen to this new Swami that has just is visiting the town. They very much enjoy the lecture, but Devadatta is sadly quite distracted. Why? Because there's something about this Swami that he kind of can place but cannot place. This Swami is intriguing him, and he's not able to pay attention to the lecture. After that, as it is common in India, there is a prasad line, a line where people stand in order to go have darshan, a close darshan of the Swami, and receive prasad. So Devadatta is still scratching his head and wondering, where have I seen him? Where have I encountered him? What is this? and they come to the beginning of the prasad line, and they are face to face with the Swami. And then suddenly it hits Devadatta. Aha, this must be our Somu. Somu has changed his name to Swami. That's all. It is only Somu only. It is our Somu. And we can, so what if he has glasses? So what if he has beard? And but still I can recognize. And then he says, "Hey, are you Somadatta?" Swami says, "Shh, don't out me here. Don't out me in this area, in this situation." And then Yajnadatta, who is clueless, is looking back and forth. What are you talking about? Says, "You know what? That Somu is this Somu here, is this Swami. That Somu is this Swami." You see, that and this are used in the same sentence to refer to the same locus only when there has been a so called change, or there is a separation in time, space, or understanding. So that is how here tasmad brahmanah etasmad atmanah akashas sambhutah. From that Brahman, which is indeed this Atma, that Brahman which is paroksha, far away from time, far away from place, remote. I don't know where this Brahman is. I have Shraddha Brahma Asti, Asti Kinchit, something is there called Brahman, I know. But Asti Brahma I know, but Asmi Brahma I don't know. I don't know I am that. I know that there is something called Brahman, but I don't know what it is, and so therefore what? So therefore I have to understand this, and then to further this understanding, we have this very nice passage here. Tasmat Brahmanah. That Tasmat refers to Brahman. Etasmat refers to the Atma that has just been discussed. And so from that Brahman, which is indeed this Atma, which is just like saying that Somu is indeed this Swami. Swami may have a new name and epithet, a title, but this Swami is indeed that Somu. So same thing. This I is indeed that Brahman. That means discussed a little while ago, little remote, further away from me, because I don't know it, and that which was discussed a little while ago, from that Brahman, which is indeed this Atma, all this has come. And so this is what Bhashyakara points out. Tasmaditi Moola Vakya Sutritam Brahma Paramrishyate. Paramrishyate means is recollected, is remembered. So what is recollected? Brahma paramrishyate. Brahman is remembered, is recollected. Where, how? And Moola Vakya Sutritam. Moola Vakya means, in the beginning. Moola Vakya Sutritam. Sutritam means briefly. That which was briefly presented in the Upanishad sentence right at the beginning. What is that right at the beginning? Brahmavida apnoti param iti. So that the first word in the Taittiriya Upanishad Anandavalli is Brahman. So there it was Sutritam, it was briefly talked about. That is what is called Moola Vakya, the thesis statement, Brahmavid apnoti param iti. And there this Brahman is recollected. This is why the word tasmat is used, whereas etasmaditi mantravakyena anantaram yatha lakshitam. Etasmat means this. This, thus mantravakyena. Mantravakya means what? See, we have Brahmana Upanishad, Prose Upanishad, Mantropanishad, in the form of verse, etc. And so this Brahmana Upanishad means this whole Upanishad is in the form of prose, except when it quotes other Upanishads. So it quoted the Rik mantra, and that which was mantra, that is called mantravakyena. Mantravakyena anantaram. Later on with the mantravakya, with that quotation, what was indicated? That Atma alone, that I was indicated. Guha Nihitatvam was there, and it is obtained in the buddhi. All this was told, and then that which was taught in the form of Lakshana, that which was taught in an indirect way, and that Brahman which is this Atma, it was taught. So the word this refers to the Atma which was taught according to Lakshana. More we'll see, not next week. Next week no classes because I'm out of town, and so the week after we will have all the classes. Okay, so the next class here will be Mundakopanishad tonight, and then after that we'll take the classes will be on a 1 week hiatus, and we'll resume with the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, not this Monday but the following Monday. Okay, the 27th, I think. Yeah, all right. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Yeah, please make a note of it because we are not able to update the website right now. There is something happening. They changed some interface, so we'll have to wait to update the insight after they have finished doing whatever they are doing. And so please make a note of the schedule. Sorry about that. Take care. All the best.
Thank you so much, Swaminiji.
Thank you. Take care.